We can turn it a little bit. Will that help too? Oh, we're live. Okay. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we call it here Mara, but, you can call it aggravation. You can call it frustrations. You can call it doing good and then getting tripped up. Whatever you want to call it, it happens. And it usually happens when we're doing really good and we stop thinking about the things that help us, right? We just stop thinking about it and then we're going along and everything's just beautiful. And then, boom, something hits us because we forgot to do the things that brought us to the point where we weren't suffering. So, we're going to go through how not to suffer again because it's important. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is up here, right here. We got to, I'm sorry to yourself. We're saying this to ourselves. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you for the things that we do to ourselves. Now, this is, we hit this every week, but really, I'm not sure people understand the importance of this, of actually caring enough about yourself to give yourself love, to stop the suffering inside of yourself, and to do things that will help you stop this suffering. So these little steps that sound a little crazy because we're never taught to love ourselves are the steps that will take you out of suffering. Because when you start to love yourself, you're going to do things to help yourself instead of doing things to bring yourself down or thinking thoughts to bring yourself down. You're going to start to think loving thoughts inside yourself for yourself. So this is really, really, really important because if you're thinking, and most of the time, we don't really understand what we're thinking. We're like, our thoughts are coming and we have no idea what we're thinking. So periodically through the day, you should take a check on that. Go, okay, what was I just thinking just now? What was that thought? Most of the time we'll go, I have no idea what I was thinking. Well, it's your mind. You need to know. Because that's what mindfulness is. That's what mindfulness is paying attention to the thoughts that are running through your mind. They run a lot, they run a lot, 60,000 thoughts a day on a minimum, really. That's the average. So if you're having those thoughts and you're not paying attention to those thoughts and you're not understanding what you're actually telling yourself, it's easy to get caught up in the suffering inside yourself. That's what happens. You're not paying attention. You're just letting your thoughts run. And pretty soon you're thinking about something that happened 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 days ago. And you're like, well, that was really bad. And then you go into the suffering over something that happened. And it's not happening now. It happened days ago or weeks ago. Even if it happened 1 minute ago, you don't have to suffer over it now because it's done. Anything that is not happening in this moment in time is already finished. You don't have to go back and revisit. You can just let it be. So in that, you can tell yourself, I'm sorry for allowing my thoughts to come in and make me feel not worthy of my love. See, I'm sorry for that. Please forgive me. Thank you for the forgiveness, right? Because, we don't have to forgive ourselves, but we do, or hopefully we do. And then I love you. Telling yourself that you love yourself. It's important. And it's not just something that you say, it's a truth that you need to speak inside. Because as little children, and I go back to this a lot, but as little children, when we're born, we love unconditionally. We love ourselves. Like I was somewhere this weekend and, there was someone that I could really feel that wasn't the energy or it was just that kind of person where you're just like, okay, I need to step away from, and I don't need to be in their space, right? And I looked at a friend of mine and I said, no, no, we need to. And as I'm speaking this, and I'm not saying it so it would hurt anybody's feelings, I'm just kind of, moving along, and there's a baby. And the baby starts to scream and cry because he's coming up to the baby and he is like close. And the baby starts screaming and crying. And the mother is like, what? It's okay. It's okay. Don't do that to your children. That is their inner self protecting themselves. That is the love they have for themselves, the unconditional love. See, we start as a little child, we know how to give ourselves love. We know how to love other people unconditionally as well. And we know how to tell right from wrong. It's an instinct inside of us. And so if we're saying to the child, no, don't do that. It's all right. They're okay. It's all right. We're saying the wrong thing because they already know inside themselves. There's no reason a child will cry around someone unless they have fear of something. So they already know how to protect that loving kindness inside of them. We teach them not to, but this is what's in all of us. So if we remember this, it's a protective instinct inside of us. It's loving kindness. We take care of ourselves with this. This is how it's done. So if you remember that, you can do this. And it will bring you into a space where it's not mean. You just don't want to be around something that's going to harm you anymore. So, and that's okay. That's a good thing. So then we're going to go down here, and we've got 5 things that we have to do within ourselves. Number 1 is tell ourselves the truth. And it's not hard because as we go through this, we're doing these, right? So we have to tell ourselves the truth. And sometimes the truth isn't as clear as we think it is. Sometimes we think, oh no, I'm good. I'm telling myself the truth. But in reality, there's things happening that are not, it's not truth you're telling yourself. You may say something to someone and in a way, you're trying to get them to do something. But you're saying it in a way that you think they're not going to know it, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they don't know it. But is that really a truth? It's not a truth because you're trying to get someone to do something or believe something that you're telling yourself, oh, this is really the truth, but it's really not the truth. So make sure you're telling, because if you're not telling yourself the truth, you're not taking care of yourself. See, I don't care what you say to other people because whatever you're speaking inside of you. That's what I care about. See, I care about what you're speaking to yourself because that is what's going to create the suffering or not create the suffering. And if you're not truthful inside yourself of the reason you're saying it, then you're not telling yourself the truth. So you have to really be conscious, be aware, mindful of what you're speaking and what is the purpose and what will be the outcome. See, clear comprehension. When you have mindfulness, you'll go into clear comprehension automatically. You'll automatically start seeing the things that you speak, what they're creating before it ever happens. That's what happens when you tell yourself the truth. The truth is mindfulness because you are clearly in your mind acknowledging what you're speaking, what you're thinking. It's clear. So you have to be clear with yourself. Don't muddle it up. Don't sugarcoat things. Don't tell yourself, don't do that to yourself. You're not doing it to anybody else. You're doing it to yourself. So this is important because if you do this, If you are truthful inside yourself, it will change your entire world. It will change it. Needed some water. So there's some right there. So truthfulness is number one. It's number one for a reason. Because anything other than truthfulness is going to create suffering. So you have to remember this inside yourself. Doesn't matter. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm not talking about what you may say to anybody else. I'm talking about what you're saying to yourself, because you say it to yourself before you say it to anyone else. So when you start to think, that's speech. When you start to think here, you're speaking inside yourself. Now, know this. This is important because we don't pay attention to that. And so we're like, oh, I know what I'm speaking. But you're speaking in here before you ever speak here. And if you're speaking in here something that is not true, that is harmful to yourself, you are creating suffering inside yourself.
There's also times for me, I'll be talking and then I like become my process and I'm like,
Yes.
like, I know all of a sudden nowhere.
Right, of what I'm saying.
And I'm like,
yeah.
What's happening? It might be a little awkward, but I'm like, I don't think I should be saying these things.
Right. And the more you're conscious like that, the less suffering you have. Because then you're paying attention to the things you're speaking before they ever come out, or as they're coming out, or after they came out. But it's okay. At least you're paying attention. And then you can start correcting those things inside yourself. This is huge. This is like really, I'm going to start because it's really, really, really big, 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 huge, huge, huge. If you do not speak truth inside yourself, you don't have truth. Period. That's the way it is. I don't care what you say to anybody else because you've already said it inside yourself. So pay attention to the chatter. Pay attention. Sometimes you'll be sitting there, somebody will be talking, and your mind will be going somewhere else. Take a check on yourself. Oh, I'm not present here. Where am I? Where did I go? What was I thinking? Because when you leave this mind free to do whatever it wants, it's going to take you to suffering. It's just, that's what it does, because it's been trained to do that. So if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, what you're speaking inside your mind, the chatter will go and you'll be like in yesterday or tomorrow, and it's going to create suffering. So pay attention. The next thing is loving kindness. I love this one. This is beautiful because if we give this to ourselves, it starts spreading around the world. That's truth. If we are loving and kind to ourselves, then it spreads out from us all around the world. Just picture a world of loving kindness. Isn't that beautiful to picture? I mean, right now it's hard. I just talked to a friend of mine on the phone, and I hadn't talked to her in a long time, since before COVID. And, she was saying, it's a crazy world out there. It's, and I said, yeah, but I'm trying to make the difference, right? We're all trying to make the difference inside ourselves. If we do it inside ourselves, it shines out and it helps other people want to be that difference in the world. That's the point, right? That's the point. We do us so we don't suffer, and then we help other people by doing ourselves. It's really a beautiful thing. But we have to be patient, because our entire life we've been doing the opposite. We've been doing complete opposite. So now we have to be patient. So what? We had a little hiccup in our travels. It's okay. Be like, okay, I'm okay. Just go back here. Do it again. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now we're back at the truth, because we just said the truth to ourselves, and we're giving ourselves love and kindness for doing that, right? And we're being patient. Then we have to give this all an effort, right? It's not, it doesn't happen just automatically until you've gotten used to it and it's a new like habit almost. Well, not almost, it is a new habit, because we've had a habit of, just thinking all these negative thoughts flowing through. So now we're taking that back, we're doing a rewind, and we're starting to have an effort of thinking positively and paying attention to our thoughts, because we do not.
I feel like part of your self-love is that.
Yes.
Doing that part.
Exactly. And then you have to have balance. So I was with a friend of mine this weekend, and we were talking about balance in your space, right? Balancing your space. So after I left, she redid her whole house. She moved things around and created balance in her space. And it made her feel better. If you are feeling not so great and you're doing your mindfulness and everything, try rearranging your house. At least, or a room or your bedroom. Check yourself how you feel when you walk into your room, into your bedroom, into your living room, into your kitchen. See how you feel. If you feel good, great, you got it. If you don't, think about where you can rearrange something to make yourself feel better. It's like flow through your house, right? So that will create balance. But having balance inside yourself is not being too high or too low. Understanding where your thoughts are. So if you know where your thoughts are, you can be in balance at all times. Oh, that's not a thought I need to carry into this moment. What is happening in this moment? Oh, we're having a class on how to have peace, right? And so you can bring yourself here and balance it out. Sometimes balance is a little tricky because we can get off kilter, and we enjoy being extremely happy, right? We enjoy that. We crave it, right? But that's not balance, and what goes up has to come down. So if you notice, whenever you're extremely happy, then all of a sudden you go down. And when you go down to a sadness. But that's not necessary. You can keep it in balance. And how do you do that? You keep it in balance by checking your mind all the time. What am I thinking? And we have truth. So we've got the truth that there is suffering. We just went through a bunch of suffering right there, right? There is a cause to suffering. So the cause to suffering is our thoughts, right? The thoughts that we have, the attachment we have to those thoughts is creating suffering. There is cessation to suffering. Suffering stops. It doesn't last forever because nothing lasts forever. But there's a path that leads to this stop, the cessation of suffering. And what is that path? Here we go. Right? These are all just thoughts, really. All this is like what you do in your mind and what you create with your mind, right? The right view. That's a thought. What are you thinking? You're observing something, but then you have a thought about that observation, right? You don't have to. You can look at something and not be even. Be even. You don't have to judge it. You can be even. It's not about me, right? You can look at something and say, that is not about me. And the more we do that, the less we suffer about something that does not involve us at all, right? Because all things are not us. So if we realize this, then we can just be like, okay, that's not about me. That's about them, but I'm not them, so I'm going to do me and let them do them, right? Mm-hmm. Thoughts, the right thought, which we just went over too. Thoughts of anger, thoughts of, but if you have the opposite thought, if you have thoughts of peace and calm, that creates peace and calm. Anger creates this inside, right? Speech. What are you speaking? We went over that and see it all comes together. It's all the same. If you're mindful, you'll see it. It just automatically flows. Da, 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 right? Right action. What are you doing? Are you committing unwholesome acts? Or are you doing some wholesome acts, right? Think about what you're doing, right? Livelihood. What do you do for a living? What are you doing for a living? What are you doing to make money? Is it the right thing? Think about it, because whatever you do, and a lot of us do things that we're not particularly fond of, but that doesn't mean it's something that you shouldn't do. Get it straight on that one. Like, I wish I could just teach all the time and not have to do real estate. But I do have to do real estate because it makes it so I can teach for free, right? So I have to do a livelihood that's not particularly what I want to do. I love the people I work with, but I would rather teach how to have peace all the time. But I can't do that right now. The only way I can do this is to have an income so I can support this, right? Right effort. We went over that here. Giving it an effort. You really got to, pay attention. Mindfulness, paying attention, right? Right concentration. Be here now. Concentrate on this space of peace inside yourself. And then there's 3 characteristics of existence. No matter who you are, this is the characteristics of existence. All things are impermanent. Nothing is going to stay or last forever. Just doesn't. None of us, nothing will. All conditioned things are subject to stress. So if you're having a condition, just like that baby's a good example. Her mother was conditioning her that it was okay for that guy to be around her, even though she was feeling like it wasn't. See? And it was creating something inside her. And now later, she's going to feel stress when she sees someone like that and knows that she shouldn't really be around. But the inside of her is going to be like, well, mom said it was okay. So she's going to have a conflict, create stress. All things are non-self. What does that mean? That means that if someone else is talking, it is not you. It's not you. This board is not me. This body is not me. I'm this soul inside the body, but the body is my car, right? My car is not mine. It's not me. It's a car, but it's not me. See, we tend to, even your children, your husbands, your wives, they are not you. They are their own. We tend to take things and say, it's me, it's mine, it's mine. That's your ego talking. That's how we get into our ego, is because we go, oh, well, that's mine. That's my computer. That's my phone. Mine, mine, mine. And then we create this self of suffering. Because if someone takes his phone, then I'm like, oh, they took my phone. It wasn't mine anyway. Yes, it's attachment. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. If you're attached to something, you're prone to suffering. So detach. Now, I've had people say to me, well, does that mean I can't love my children? No, it doesn't mean you can't love your children. It means you love your children even more because you're setting them free. They're their own person. They will always be their own person. No matter how much you try to control them, how much can you control them? You can't. They have their own mind. They are their own person. No matter what. The only thing you can control is your own thoughts. And a lot of times we're not so good at that. You know? So if we practice just doing us, and that's not a selfish thing. When I say just doing us, that doesn't mean we don't help other people if they're in need. That just means we're doing us. Now, it means if someone else says, I need $100 and you only have $100, that means you need to take care of you first. You know, you could say, you know what, I'll share my sandwich with you, but I can't give you $100, right? Because that's all I have. So you have to like think about these things in real life and taking care of you, right? This is what it is. It's taking care of yourself first so that you can take care of someone else. If we're not taking care of ourselves, how can we take care of someone else? It's impossible. We can't. So this week has been learning week, right? It's been learning because there's been some people that had lessons to learn. And sometimes when we grow, we have more lessons to learn. Like it's like, okay, let's take math, for instance. When we're in school, we're in first grade or whatever, we learn 1 + 1 = 2. And then we get that. So, but that's not the end of our learning, because we're going to go back and we're going to learn multiplications, we're going to learn division, and now they got all kinds of stuff I probably don't even know what it is. And so, it's continued learning. It's the same thing with this. We're always learning, always learning, always learning. That's why this life is our university. It's teaching us, continually teaching us, teaching us, teaching us. And if we allow ourselves, geez, we can learn a lot. And so one of the things, like today, I was kind of reading something. I was actually reading over notes that I had written while I was in Thailand. I've got books of writing that I wrote. And like I would be in one of my classes and I wouldn't have one notebook, so I'd start another notebook. So I have tons of writing. And sometimes I have loose pieces of paper and writing on the back of something. And so I was just kind of thumbing through some of it. And I saw that I was writing about knowledge and wisdom. And so I'm not sure why I brought this up other than it just flashed in my mind. So I feel like I need to bring it up. So knowledge is like when we read something and we're like, okay, I understand that, right? But wisdom is actually putting it into action. So you can have all kinds of knowledge. Like all this is knowledge, right? You read it, you start to understand it, you read it, you start to understand it, you read it, you start to understand it. But until you actually put it into action, until you actually start doing you, working, bringing it in and feeling it inside yourself, you're still in the knowledge. But the wisdom comes when you bring it in and you do it. You actually do it. And it's a beautiful thing when that happens, because then you can start helping yourself. Then the suffering at some point is going to end. And I mean, you cannot suffer over anything. You can stop suffering over anything. And I know that there are people out there that think that's, baloney. But I can tell you it's true, because I've had a lot of reason that people say I had the right to suffer, right? People say that you have the right to suffer, someone dies, you have the right to suffer. Why do you want to give yourself permission to feel bad? So I just really want that to sink in for a minute, because I've had people die in my life. I had my mom, my niece, my brother, my sister, all my grandparents are gone. I've had a lot of people die in my life, right? So, but what good is the suffering, right? Like, people say this to you. Oh, you've had so many hard things happen to you. You have the right to suffer. Feel bad. They're telling you, feel bad for yourself. Why would you do that? Like, does that make sense to you? I want you to think about this, like what you're actually doing to yourself when you do this. So we reminisce about things, we bring the past in, we bring the future in. Oh, we're not going to have them anymore. We cultivate all this sadness and sorrow for what? What does it do? It doesn't do anything except for destroy you, create suffering in you, make you unable to function properly, make you feel, continue to feel bad about yourself, right? Because you're not being able to do the things you really want to do. So there is no reason you have to suffer. The only reason you're suffering is because you're thinking about the past and you're attaching to it. That's it. That's the truth. I know, because I have done it and I have come out of it. I can speak to this because I've done it. So I took losing someone, and they're not really lost. They died, they left their body, whatever you want to call it. But we all do that, right? All of us at some point in time in this lifetime are not going to be here anymore in this body. That's what's going to happen. I mean, we are all impermanent. None of us are made of something that will continue to live forever. So if we acknowledge this fact, then we know this, then we don't need to suffer over it. We can just go, okay, well, that was something that was supposed to happen, right? We know it's going to happen. It was supposed to happen. I know that there are times when we feel like it shouldn't happen, right? I didn't want it to happen to my mom or my brother or my sister or my niece or, anybody, but it does. That's the truth of it. And us feeling bad about it isn't going to change that. It is what it is. It's not going to change. It's going to stay the same. The only thing it does is make us feel worse. So if we understand this, then we can let it go and we can move into this moment in time. And this moment in time is different than the past, right? So we have to create new things in our life in this moment in time. Like, there's things in this moment, like when I get up in the morning, it's a new morning. I don't think about what I did yesterday. I don't care. It's already gone, right? There's nothing I can do about it. So I go, okay, this morning I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. I might cook breakfast or do a meditation, or I look inside myself and I try to find something that will help me have a good day. So for me, when I wake up, I do a meditation. I know that's going to help me have a good day. I clear any thoughts I may have, any dreams I might have had, Sometimes we attach to the dreams we have. That's crazy, right? What are we doing? It was a dream. Let it go. Even some people have dreams and they come true. That's okay too. Let it go. Let it go. Because anything we attach to is going to create suffering inside of us. It just does. All things are impermanent. So if we're attaching to something, that means we're attaching to something impermanent that will leave eventually, right? Maybe not by choice. A lot of times not by choice. Like, my mom didn't choose to die. She just died, right? I mean, that's the way it is. There wasn't a choice that she was making. So sometimes it happens and it's not a choice. So we have to let things go. We have to let things just be. And in doing doing that, we can love ourselves, be in this present moment. You don't have to wander into yesterday or tomorrow. You can be here. So, what is happening here? Oh, in this moment in time, we're in a class trying to teach us how to have inner peace and not suffer. And we are practicing being in this moment. So, where was your mind, right? I just took you on a whole journey right there. And everybody's mind went in their past or to some kind of suffering they had. Everybody's mind did that. You're not alone. Everybody, it was a little exercise we did, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's mind went to the suffering. But bring it back. I'm showing you how to bring it back. Where are we now? We're here. You're either on YouTube watching me, Anna's here with me. We're in this present moment in time. There's nothing else here. There's nothing else happening. There's no suffering in this moment in time. Bring yourself here. Don't take yourself back over blah, 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 blah. That's nothingness. See, I took you there so you could see how to get out. That's how we do it. We bring ourselves here. What are we thinking now? Oh, that was messed up, Kim. Right? That was but it wasn't because it's a practice, right? We were practicing going from not knowing what we were talking about, thinking about, right? Our minds went all over the place. And then we came right back here in this moment in time. And it's beautiful here because we don't have to suffer, right? We don't have to suffer here. We can enjoy this moment in time. We can give ourselves love. So now we can practice saying, oh, I'm sorry I took my mind there, right? I'm sorry for going there. I'm going to bring you back here. Please forgive me for taking you down that path of suffering, right? Please forgive me for that. Thank you. And I love you. Right? You can say your name even. Like sometimes I'll go, Kim, I'm so sorry I did that to you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you, Kim. Right? Yeah, because we're bringing ourselves back. We're teaching ourselves to love ourselves. It's not necessary to go anywhere else. We're right here in this moment. There's nothing else happening. Anything else is non-existent. It doesn't exist, right? Anything that happened 2 seconds ago, what I just did doesn't exist anymore, right? We're here. It doesn't exist. It's gone. Anything in the future hasn't even gotten here yet. We don't even know if it's going to. So we might as well hang out here and enjoy our life. Be present in this moment. Take control of your mind. Don't think you don't have control because you do. You've just forgotten how to do it. You're remembering, right? We're starting to remember. It takes practice. It takes practice. We have to continue to practice at this. We did a little exercise. Now we're here. That exercise doesn't even matter anymore, right? We're here in this moment in time. It's a beautiful space. If we allow ourselves just to be here. Now, if you're one that your mind wanders a lot, it's just and you can't seem to just bring it into this present moment. I'm going to say that probably a walking meditation will help you because when you do a walking meditation, I did a lot of this in Thailand. We had to train. We did a lot of training. And so a walking meditation, you focus on what you're doing with your body, okay? So you can only have one thought at a time. So if you're thinking about your body and what your body's doing and the movements that you're doing in your body, you're not up here, you're thinking about this. So I'm going to take a drink and then I'm going to show you what to do. And I'll show you the first like 3 steps because there's like 6 of them. So I'm going to show you the first few. And so you take your hands and you put them on your abdomen here, right around your belly button. And so you're breathing. When you breathe, you're breathing with your belly. You're not breathing up here. You're breathing with your belly. So you start out by telling yourself, I'm standing, right? You tell yourself, okay, standing, 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 I'm standing, right? So you're not focused on anything else. You're focused on standing, right? Focus on your posture. Are you standing straight? Stand up straight. Hold your hands here. And then you say, lifting. You're lifting up your foot, right? You're telling yourself what you're doing and you're paying attention to what's going on with your body, right? Lifting, moving, placing, right? Or you can say, right foot up, moving, placing. Left foot up, moving, placing. So you're telling yourself, I'm lifting my foot, right? I'm standing, I'm standing, I'm standing. Lifting. Say it 3 times so you're aware of what you're doing, right? Lifting, lifting, lifting. Moving, moving, moving. Placing, 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 right? So you're telling yourself. So where's your mind? Where's your thoughts? Right? Let's take a check. Where were they? They were right here. They were on what I was doing, right? This is how you do it. I'm giving you examples of how to take yourself out of suffering and into this present moment. It's a good one because some of us can't sit at first and just meditate. We can't. Some of us can't because our mind's still going and we haven't had practice on how to bring our mind into this present moment. So when you do that, and all it is what I just showed you. You stand up straight, you put your hand on your stomach, you breathe, and you say, standing, standing, standing. Right foot up, moving, placing, right? Left foot up, moving, placing. Your mind is here. It's not anywhere else. So that is the point of meditation, is bringing yourself into this present moment in time, not going all over crazy. And so when we have our thoughts going a lot and we don't have practice on how to bring it into this moment, the walking meditation will help you do that. And it's a real easy one. You can do it, you don't even have to say it out loud. You can think it in your mind and you can do it anywhere you are, right? You can go to the park and walk and do your walking meditation. Probably have people join you if you do, So this is how you do it. This is what you do. It will help you bring yourself into this present moment because when we're first starting, our mind chatters a lot and we haven't been taught or trained in how to bring it into this moment, how to stop that, the 60,000 thoughts a day. We haven't quite realized how to stop that yet. And so this will help you with that. It's just a little exercise that you can do with yourself. You can do it with it, whatever you want to do it with. It just brings yourself into this moment in time and out of the chatter inside your mind. So that's how you do it. What are you thinking? See, you have to ask yourself that. And I do this on purpose. I say, okay, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You have to maintain this in your mind. You have to think about, okay, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? And then delete that and let it go. If it's creating suffering, sometimes you have to figure out why you're creating your suffering. Right? You can't, if you just go, okay, I'm going to try to push it out. I'm going to try to push it out. But what is it that's bringing it in? Why can't you let that go? If you figure that out, you can let it go, right? That's a whole nother class. But I'm telling you right now, the easiest way to bring yourself into this moment, if your mind is just going, 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 and you can't sit to a meditation, is doing that, doing a walking meditation. It will help you a lot. So I think I'm about done for tonight. Please, if you all have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you need help with anything, if you want me to, help you with whatever, just call me, text me. Hi, Donna. Hi, Vanessa. I just saw you guys type your little thing in. So sometimes I get into talking and I don't see. So if I don't see, I apologize, but I see you guys tonight. So it's right on. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully this is helpful to everyone. I will not be on tomorrow night, but we're going to do Thursday instead. I have to go to do a little chat with someone who has gone from this world. So I've been invited to Washington, Northern Virginia. So I do that. If someone asks me to go, I go. So I'm on my way up there tomorrow night, but Thursday we will have it instead. And so I had put out on the Line app that we have for meditation, but I'm just going to say it on here too. If you could just think about what you want to get out of class. What is it that you're hoping to get from this class? I want to know because I think that it's important. It's important for you to think about what you want. What is it that you're looking for in class? Why do you come to class? What is it that you want to achieve? And so then if I could get those, on Thursday, then we'll go through and I will try to help you achieve those. So that's the reason I'm asking you to do it, because I want to help you with whatever it is that you want to achieve out of these classes. It's important. And so if you can think about it and just jot it down and share it with me, then I will try to make sure that you receive what it is that you're looking for in this class. So I want everyone to be mindful and pay attention to your thoughts. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. Give an effort. And I love all of you dearly. And hopefully this journey will be a great one for you. So I will see you on Thursday. Namaste.